Hello there and welcome to another episode of Gotham Talk. This time I'm reviewing episode 18 of season 1, which is called Everyone Has a Cobblepot, or Everybody Has a Cobblepot, one of the two, which basically refers to a line of dialogue, or quotes a line of dialogue that comes from the mouth of Bullock at one point during this episode. What he's talking about there is that Gordon, obviously, early on in this series, he was forced to basically put a bullet in Cobblepot. Of course, he didn't. We know that. He found a way out of that. He faked it. But what Bullock's getting at is that everyone has a Cobblepot. Everyone has that dirty little deed that they did, that they're not proud of, but which can be used as leverage against them. And the man to hold that leverage is the commissioner of the police. Now, this comes into play because Flass, who a few episodes ago was arrested by Gordon for double homicide, has been released. And he was released because Bullock himself confessed to the evidence being not up to scratch. And the reason he did that, obviously referring back to his line, is that Commissioner had something on him. His cobblepot, so to speak. So, yeah, Gordon's not impressed just because of the hard evidence they had to send this guy away, which has now just been discarded. And that's really the crux of the investigation for them in this episode. Gordon does go it alone for the first half of the episode. He doesn't trust Bullock. He doesn't really want to work with Bullock at this point. And you do sympathise with Bullock because he was essentially put in the same position as Gordon, only you get the sense that he wasn't in a position to be able to manoeuvre his way out of it. But even so, he pulled the trigger, which, again, it's moral questions there. If somebody's got a gun to your head telling you to put a bullet in someone else's head, would you pull the trigger? And I'm sure we'd all like to believe that we wouldn't, that we'd be able to make the moral stand. But when you're put in that position, in that situation, who knows what we would do? So you can really feel sympathy for Bullock in this episode. But also, a tinge of regret that he has stooped so low. He's never been the cleanest of cops, but murder, I like that story that's going on there. They kind of rope when Bullock does come into it after this rather funny scene in which these triad types kind of go after Gordon and Dent, because Dent comes in into the case and helps Gordon to try and get leverage basically on Commissioner Loeb. Where was I going? Completely forgot where I was going. But Dent, it's nice to see Dent back. He makes a nice kind of addition to the team here. But they go to see Penguin. They go to see Cobblepot, and what Gordon does is make a deal with Cobblepot because they find out that Penguin can essentially get them what it is they're after, which is the location of whatever it is Loeb is hiding. Basically, all this information he has on everyone, and he agrees to owe Penguin a debt, owe him a favour, which obviously is going to come up at some point in the future, and he's definitely going to regret it. You don't owe a favour to someone as nefarious as Cobblepot. So that's an interesting turn of events, especially given what happened a couple of episodes ago, in which he deeply regretted already taking a favour from him, so to speak. Cobblepot helps him out, gets them to this place, and we meet this crackpot old couple. Really, bizarre old couple. They kind of remind me of the old couple from The Visit. You know, that M. Night Shyamalan film, only more obviously wacky. So yeah, really twisted old couple, and I kind of like those scenes with them, but it's also, yeah, it's a little bit bizarre too. But I find that Cobblepot in those scenes is somewhat contradictory in his nature, in that he looks quite scared, I think. But we've seen this guy handle himself in a physical situation. You know, he's gone full on psychopath. He's killed a man in the previous episode. You know, just it was off screen, but guy insulted his mother and he just went for him. So yeah, the fact that he's scared of this little old lady, yeah, it's funny, but I'm not sure he would be, to be honest, especially considering he had a gun in his hand by the point at which he still looks pretty scared. But anyway, whatever, that's by the by. And yeah, so Commissioner's dirty secret is that he has a daughter who killed his wife, her mother, and he doesn't want that coming out for obvious reasons. But Gordon has that. He has that now on him, and he takes it straight to him. No messing about. And we get something of a repeat of the scene from, I can't remember which episode it was, but when Commissioner Loeb is essentially pinning a medal of sorts onto Gordon, making him the captain of something or other. But yeah, it's funny that Gordon has him over a barrel again. So now he has leverage against Loeb. It's dirty tactics. It's again Gordon getting a little bit underhanded, but it's the lesser of two evils as he sees it. You know, if he completely gets rid of Loeb, then someone else just as dirty will step in his place. So the way he sees it, it's best to keep him on tap. Yeah, I like that storyline. I like where they go with that. It progresses our characters along quite nicely, I think. What else do we get in this? We get a brief little pickup of the Alfred situation. You know, he wakes up in a bed, given the events of the previous episode, and there's a nice little sequence in which Bruce basically orders him to get back into bed when he tries to get out. But yeah, we don't bring Reggie Payne back for this episode, so they're obviously laying low with that for a bit. I'll bring that back up again in a later episode, I imagine. Well, I know because I've seen the first season before. So yeah, there's that again. A few nice little moments between those characters. Selena Kyle gets a nice little moment as well with Bruce, where she hugs him, and you can tell she feels genuinely sorry for his situation because of the condition that Alfred's in. And then the other kind of big story element really is Fish Mooney again. We're back with her. I feel sorry for Jada Pinkett Smith having to wear for numerous episodes this awful costume in which she's got this kind of white turban on and this white robe. It's not flattering at all. I'd imagine as an actress she probably hated that costume. It would be very understandable. But yeah, she now has two different coloured eyes because they've replaced the eye she dug out with a spoon from last episode and given her a bright blue eye, which is a pretty cool visual. It looks pretty cool, and it shows us just exactly we like as if we didn't know anyway that what this doctor's doing, and we finally get to meet the doctor, Dr. Dollmaker, as in Dollmaker. It's a little bit on the nose. Well, not a little, it's a lot. It's very much on the nose. We see what this Dollmaker has done to Jeffrey Combs' character from the previous episode. Obviously, Combs' character failed him, and so he's put his head onto the body of a woman. I can't help but feel that this is some kind of reference to Reanimator. I mean, I've not seen Reanimator, so I'm only assuming here. Definitely just making assumptions. But I would imagine this is some kind of twisted reference to Reanimator. Like I say, could be totally wrong. But it don't work for me. It's a shame they get rid of Coombs like so quickly. Because, yeah, I like the guy. It would have been nice to see him come back. But, yeah, that's kind of his end, I guess. Unless they do bring him back in a really weird way. I didn't like it, but mainly because the special effects for me didn't quite work. His head just looked really weird on that body. I mean, it would anyway, wouldn't it? If you stuck his body on a woman, if you stuck his head on a woman's body, yeah, it would look weird. But you could tell it was an effect, and it just didn't work for me, to be honest. Mooney starts kind of gaining a bit more power. She hands over someone from her little group downstairs, so to speak. Someone that I don't really think she should have handed over. It wasn't very nice. But like she says, you know, she never made any promises other than the fact that some of them will die. But yeah, I just don't like her in that moment, and I don't think we're supposed to either. She's clearly, by this point, she's making power plays. She's got one thing on her mind, and that is escape. So yeah, you know, it's a good episode. It's solid. Nothing quite jumps out at me as pure brilliance, but it is definitely a very solid episode, and I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. Some really nice production design, actually. Really nice lighting and production design. A particular scene just before they go into the house where the old people are with all this snow around. It looks, yeah, exquisite. It looks beautiful. So there you go. 3.5 out of 5 from me. But what about you? Have you seen this episode? If so, what did you think about it? Comment below. Let me know. And until next time, crack in.